Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to BattleTech Heavy Metal. We've finally done it. We put away that layout flashpoint, and frankly, I'm kind of proud of myself for getting through it. That was absolutely brutal. So, the plan for a long time has been that we would do this, we would figure out what the layout flashpoint was, we would record evidence of its existence for the internet, and then we would backstab the entire hell out of the Capellan Confederation and just spend the rest of our game making their lives as miserable as possible. And I still think that's the plan, but in the comments of the previous episode, commenter Jeffrey Draper pointed out that we are currently flush with cash, and we're not really that far from the Capellan Company store. So probably the real smart move is fly back there. That's a 4.5 skull planet, so do some more 4.5 skull work for them, make a bunch of extra money, sell off our extra mechs and our extra garbage parts, buy out everything cool that they have, and then turn on them. That's definitely a better idea. And that's totally what I was about to do, and then I saw this. There's a flashpoint up here, a new flashpoint spawned. So, we're gonna do that. We're gonna fly back to Victoria, I think the system is called. Not only is it a 4.5 skull world where we could do some good work and get paid, and a Liao headquarters so we could buy stuff from their store. Remember, it is a former Star League world, so there's a good supply of like very rare mechs and stuff there. That's definitely a place we're going to go spend some money, but we're going to hit this first and then fly to Victoria from Glentworth. So, you don't know me, employer unknown, but me and my associates have a job for you. A real nice one with a big payout at the end. I do love a big payout. You want to talk about it? Come meet me at Glentworth. This is a 2-skull flashpoint. What's the difficulty of the world? It's a 3.5 skull world. Okay, so there is a black market here. Obviously, we'll have to moderate how much money we spend there if we're planning on going shopping over here. But I think this will be good for us to do. We took a tremendous amount of damage during that flashpoint, and when we, as soon as I get into space here, we're going to pause it. You can see we have 25 days. 25 days of mech repairs in the bank. So I guess we should decide, of these mechs, which is the one that's least important to get repaired before we arrive on Glentworth? What's the thing we're least likely to use on a 3.5 skull world? It's probably the crab, right? Given that we're going to be weight limited by the blood wheel and everything, it's probably the case that we won't even be able to run a crab on any of these missions. Okay, back to our regularly scheduled travel. I gotta say, I was really thinking that we were going to end up failing the second part of that flashpoint again. Or rather, the third part. The second day of missions in that flashpoint again. We really got down to the end of our resources. I mean, we had to actually pull the crab out because it took too much damage. I guess I should talk about the repairs a little bit. For the most part, we were able to replace things with the things that we had lost. We did not have another plus 60 melee damage arm mod for the grasshopper, so it has received a lighter and weaker arm mod, and then I made up the extra weight by modding the legs out a little bit more for reduction in DFA damage. I'm not gonna put another Argo repair in the queue just yet. We're trying to save money for something here. But everything else we were able to just get running again. The LB20X++ that we lost on the crab, we did in fact have exactly one identical LB20X in the bank. So I fixed that up. The crab sadly does not have an injury resist cockpit anymore because we did not have a spare one of those, and whatever's in the head slot gets destroyed when you eject. So that's just gone. Hopefully we'll find another one soon. Those are pretty valuable pieces of gear. After receiving a message about a situation on the mess deck, you find yourself in the middle of a crisis. Jackpot stands on the wrong side of the galley counter, holding a terrified cook by the arm and snarling. Lightfoot approaches, hands raised. Man, we have so many people on the crew that I have no familiarity with at all. You gotta let her go, Jackpot. She didn't mean anything. As you step over a fallen lunch tray, the cook gasps, Commander! Jackpot looks at you, still squeezing the cook's arm. You didn't hear her, Commander. You didn't see her face. Well, Jackpot's got some military training. We could lean on that. With your best parade ground voice, you call 10 hut. Jackpot automatically snaps to attention, instantly releasing the cook. You glance at the cook, who nods her appreciation and backs away. Then you regard Jackpot sternly. Explain to me what you were doing, mech warrior, right now. Pinned by years of military discipline, Jackpot's back stiffens even more. Commander, I felt disrespected by that cook, and I behaved disgracefully. You stare at her for a long moment, then take the mood down a notch. Alright, come out from there, Jackpot. You have an apology to make and a mess to clean. As punishment for your behavior, I'm giving you a week of KP duty in addition to your regular tasks. And for some reason, that makes Jackpot unavailable for 7 days. Like, I get that, a week of KP duty, but I'm the commander. I should be able to decide that we need Jackpot to do a mission. It just seems weird that Jackpot's unavailable to me, the person who gave out the punishment. I mean, whatever. I don't even know who Jackpot is. It's very, very unlikely that we would have used her in combat. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and run another week of normal pay, or another month of normal pay. We are probably going to... I don't want to say probably, but there's a chance that we're going to end up having to pay people again before we reach Victoria, which would be a little bit of a shame. I guess it's kind of the same whether we have to pay them before we reach Victoria or right after, because we can't spend the money either way, right? Hopefully we will make enough on Victoria to make up the difference. And who knows, this planet here might end up being really lucrative for us. I don't know if the flashpoint itself is going to be, but there's going to be other missions here. So we'll step in on that in just a second. First, we're going to check out the other contracts, and then we're also going to go ahead and look at the length of the trip from here to Victoria, just because I'm curious. My guess is that we're probably going to make like somewhere around 1 million C-bills-ish off of this flashpoint, provided we do everything right. And then, there's only one mission here, but it is a 1.3. That's not bad at all. I was really hoping there would be more jobs here, honestly. Alright, also, there is a black market here that we're allowed to use. We could... Let's see. Is that really... That's 13 million for partial salvage? What on earth? Did they change the price modifier? Or did we drop another level of reputation with the pirates, maybe? Oh, we're all the way down to loathed. Yeah, we might have dropped our pirate rep low enough that the black market's never going to be useful to us again. Well, what else do they have? They had 106 million for a full awesome, which is not even, like, a good mech. Yeah, 5 million for a single part for a crab. Yeah, we're probably just not going to be able to use the black market anymore. That is a shame. +3 melee hit, gyro. Well, I guess it's free, but like... that's a rough thing to install in your mech when you could use that space for like a plus hit defense gyro or something. Alright, let's not buy anything from the black market and instead just go into this flashpoint. So this is probably going to be some like BattleTech lore character that I'm not familiar with. It's a bird. Sorry? It's a what? Holy shit. What is the voice of the trustworthy client who is a bird? What does a bird sound like? Hey, holy shit, you actually came. Large John Corpsington in the flesh. The invitation I sent you was sort of a Hail Mary. And to be frank, I was 90% certain you wouldn't even respond. But here you are, gods be praised. Of course they're not actually a bird. This is like, they hacked the thing, right? Man, maybe they're a bird. I hope they're a bird. Yeah, here we are. Would you care to explain what we're looking at, Mr. Corbu? Oh, yeah. My damned holo camera's on the fritz. You're getting the parrot, right? I think that's my comm system's default image, the one they use for the display models. Just try to ignore it. We've got serious business to discuss. Yeah, I'll bet. Why don't you tell us about it? Okay, so here's the deal. I've got these associates. That's never a good word. Nobody you've ever heard of. Nobody you need to worry about. But they shell out big money for old stuff. Bits and bobs from the Star League days. It doesn't matter if it's working or not. If it's ancient, they want it. Yeah, your associates aren't alone in that. A lot of people would give their left arm for a piece of genuine lost tech. Yeah, but you're talking about the stuff that has value, like mechs and ships and lasers, that kind of thing. My friends, they want everything, including literal garbage. And that makes opportunities for people like you and me. So, here's the deal. Way off the tip of Glintworth's northern continent, there's this island called Menlojoen. Now, I happen to know that there's a Starleague era facility out there. The vultures have been picking at it for years, but there's still meat on those bones, and I want you to fetch it for me. So, you called us out here for a Lost Tech treasure hunt. Fantastic. If you'd been upfront about that, I'd have argued against flying out here at all. Yo, Sumiri, if he's gonna pay us, who cares if there's actually anything there? Well, hang on, hear me out. The facility I'm sending you to isn't SLDF. That's the beauty of this plan. Because there's nothing in there of any military value, nobody with any muscle is going to show up to stop you. You're going after the equivalent of a Starleague-era stapler factory. But that doesn't matter to my associates. They'll pay top dollar for those staplers. So, what's stopping you from heading down there yourself and looting the place? A healthy sense of self-preservation. See, there are a couple of gangs of scavengers on Menlojoen who are fighting over our stapler factory. They're nobodies, just a bunch of amateurs who'd rather lob bombs at each other than learn to share. And before you ask, no, they don't even have any battle mechs. At most, you'll run into a couple of rundown old tanks on each side. Nothing that you need to worry about. Yeah, so it sounds like any fool with a battle mech could pull off the kind of job you're describing. Why come to us? Because you're the best. And I know you're the best because I got a pal at the MRB. Maybe you've met him. Phil Burdock? No, is that not? No? Okay, well, me and Phil have an arrangement. I let him crash at my luxury timeshare in Lothaby, and in return, he helps me find the right people for jobs that need doing. This whole thing doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, like, I'm following, but what? Is it 100% lies, do you reckon, or only 90%? Lothaby is a coastal city known for its impressive skyline and broad assortment of fusion restaurants. Oh, okay. So your process involves bribery and a timeshare condominium. This is just like information I didn't need, man. Yes, you do. Now, what do you say? A quick drop onto the island with a lance of light mechs, maybe a skirmish with a vehicle or two, and the job's done. You scoop up whatever's in that facility and drop it off at my condo. I go fence it to my associates, you get a nice big payout. Easy as pie. It's obviously not going to be that easy, but sure, why not, we're in. Brilliant, friend. Absolutely goddamned brilliant. I'll be in touch when you've got the goods. Until then, just do your thing. Don't let me stand in your way. Kinda wish he was just a giant bird. Alright, well, I've given your pilot a map of Menlojoen and complete with the rough location of the Starleague installation. I want you to get in there, brush aside any resistance, and loot whatever your battle mechs can carry. You'll get your pay when my associates have the goods. This is gonna go... I mean, obviously it's gonna go wrong, but it's probably gonna go wrong in like a pretty weird way, huh? So, a 2-skull mission. This is an interesting question for us. In terms of mech class completion, we are only missing 1 light mech, but we are still missing at least some parts of 7 different mediums. Because it turns out there's just a huge number of mediums. So, at 2 skulls, how many mediums do we think we're going to see? Do we think we're going to see mechs at all? Maybe he's right about the tanks, and the reason this becomes more complicated and turns into a flashpoint is that we do run into some other force. I think I'm going to take it as a single point of priority salvage. And we're talking about such a small amount of money here, though. You know what? I'm going to do it like this. We'll take 3 points of priority salvage, because the difference is only 140,000 C-bills. And who knows? Maybe we get lucky and we pull, like, a whole medium that we need. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Trustworthy client. Oh, hey. You know what time it is. We haven't done it in a little while. I almost forgot. Silly, silly me. It's time to spin the wheel. Let's get in here, and I still haven't updated it. I'm going to update it. Listen, I'm going to add stuff to it. It's a lot of work, and I've been real busy. There's robots that had to be punched, and also I have depression, so that's my excuse. It turns out, today, we're fighting at close range. 4 everyone's edification, including mine, because I have forgotten. Close range spotter. We can only shoot at targets that are within support range weapon of one of our mechs. And that, in theory, allows me to go 0.5 skulls above the intended mission weight, except that we're already pretty tightly limited here. So, 200 tons. Well, the Hatchet Man would seem to be a natural for this. It's a good high damage light mech that is usually limited on damage by heat, but we're in a polar environment. And then, what else do we want to bring? The Phoenix Hawk should be good here. We could afford to bring like one thing that's a little bit heavier. It's a little bit more of a fighter. Maybe the Griffin? Yeah, the Griffin could be like sort of our front line. And then if we were to bring, say, the Penance mech's probably a pretty bad fit here, because the enemy mechs are going to cool more effectively. We could bring on the Thumper with the Mortar. That'd be cool. If I put in this Quick Draw... Oh wait, the Quick Draw is a little bit above what we can be at, right? Because, yeah, we're 145 right now. So, this Wolverine, which is a little bit of a weird build, is okay. And that puts us at 2.5 symbols. That does fit in the threshold. The Wolverine and the Griffin are both quite fast, so they shouldn't have any trouble keeping up. I mean, all of these mechs are pretty fast. I think we can fulfill our close-range spotter objective here. I think this is totally going to work. Oh, also, each slot has a maximum of 55 tons, which is another reason we can't run the quick draw. Okay, and then we have the question of pilots. This is not going to be all that difficult of a mission, so this is probably a good time to bring in a couple of the people that we're trying to train up. Who are we going to drop, first of all? Well, definitely Returned is out, because his XP isn't worth any points. We could bring on... Who are we going to have training? Basically, we probably we want to run like 2 real pilots and 2 new pilots, right? What are the mechs that need the real pilots? Where are the ones where that's really important? I'm thinking probably the Hatchet Man needs a pilot who has good evasive skills, because it's going to be in danger a lot. We could just run Foxglove. He doesn't quite have the aim that we would like. But that's maybe not such a big deal. Like, we don't have a single heavy piercing weapon anyway. The UAC-5 is fine, but... Yeah, what if we did this? He has Coolant Vent to deal with the bad heat efficiency. And he'll make that mech as tough as it can be. And then... I guess there's a little bit of a danger with him having lower piloting. Like, he might not be at the level of piloting that gets you the point of hit defense. Do we have anything that really, really needs a high aim pilot? I mean, obviously you always want somebody with aim. I guess the Phoenix Hawk, the Leaper, is the thing that most benefits from a good pilot. From a pilot who can aim stuff. You know what I want is, I want Ace Pilot on this. Let's get Steamfitter in there. Because that'll make it a little bit easier to do the close range spotter thing with it, being able to jump in late and then fire and jump back out early on the next turn. We could leave Sourdough in, I suppose. It doesn't really matter who's driving the Wolverine. I guess the Wolverine benefits from having a good pilot because it's got a relatively small number of higher damage weapons on it. And its job is just to like run up on people and be in their face and absorb damage. Sourdough might be the appropriate pilot for that then. Unless we want to run like Uncrackable. I don't know that the breaching shot's really accomplishing a lot here. And multi-target when we have such a small number of weapons anyway doesn't seem all that good. Yeah, and then we'll just pull in... So you're going to be getting close to people. You have reasonable heat efficiency. We just bring in Tiger Tail to help train him up. I think this is reasonable. I think we can do it like this. Let's hope that I'm not underestimating the mission in a way that's very embarrassing for all of us. So we can only shoot at targets that we have at least one person way the hell up on. That can be a little tricky with smaller mechs, I guess, because they're so fast it might be hard to catch them. We have good jump jets, though. We have 4 jump jets on both the Phoenix Hawk and the what do you call it? The Hatchet Man. And then fewer on other people. I really, man, I do appreciate this. Every time I look at it, it makes me smile. Alright, so we're going to get in here. What do you think is going to be the twist? Is it going to be that it turns out it was an SLDF facility in the first place, and so there are other people trying to loot it? Or I'm betting that it turns out one of the forces that he's talking about acquired some battle mechs. Maybe he's given us the best intel he has, but he's just not paying enough attention. He's kind of dumb. And he didn't know that one of them went hard and got some real battle mechs. Alright, according to Corbu's map, our Starleague stapler factory should be somewhere just ahead of you. He also said that we shouldn't run up against anything more dangerous than a combat vehicle or two, but I'd take that with a grain of salt, because obviously, why would I be here? Alright, it's refreshing to work for somebody who's obviously sketchy for a change. I mean, most of our clients are just as bad, but they're much better at hiding it. Yeah, in a sense, I guess you're right. Unsavory character Nigel Binton. Ah, I see we've got some new battle mechs on the field. Hello, my name is Binton, and if you've come for the vault, my hired cutthroats will be murdering you today. Menlo Joan is my island, Binton? If I catch either of you near that vault, you'll only wish you were dead. I've got a bucket of proserpinin blood limpets, and a vivid imagination, and I'm feeling eager to use them. Okay, then I guess we'd better not let you catch us. Game face is on, everybody. We've got a fight on our hands. This mission's really weird so far. This whole thing is going so strangely.
Heading out.
You ever just have a super weird day at work where somebody threatens you with some blood limpets? And also a guy's a bird, maybe? God, I hope it turns out he's actually a giant parrot.
Moving out.
Boy, the Phoenix Hawk is really fast.
Confirmed.
Like, way too fast for its own good, probably. It's, and you know what, honestly, it's a nice change of pace to be using mechs that can move like this.
Moving to position.
So we do have a Manticore, something else that's fairly heavy, but, you know, vehicles.
Orders.
Well, there's no reason to move until everybody can move.
Reporting.
And then Batroc here can definitely close with one of the vehicles. I'm imagining nobody else is going to be able to get close to either. You know what? This is close enough that we could fire on both of them. It's a little hard to tell, like, exactly where 90 meters is. What's the minimum effective range of an AC-2? I guess we don't get the detailed versions of the weapon cards here. But I'm pretty sure this is close enough, or like this. This is definitely close enough that we could fire support weapons at either of them. I'm gonna do this. This may be a little dangerous.
I understand.
But I'm trusting my teammates. Hold on, we got a third reading. Okay, it's way off in the distance, though, and it's relatively light, whatever it is. Alright, let's have you step in. Is anybody going to be able to shoot that second vehicle? What even is that? It's a bulldog? Honestly, that thing's capable of doing a fair amount of damage. Well, let's try to take out this Manticore. I don't think it's worth spending Resolve. I think we just give him everything and hope. Got some pretty thick armor. Also, remarkable how bad our shot is on a stationary target from that extremely short distance. New pilots, you know? Can you get a little bit closer? Yes, we can get just close enough to fire the SRMs. Okay, I can do it here if I don't jump. I think I'm okay with jumping, though. Heat's unlikely to be a problem in the Wolverine, because the Wolverine doesn't have enough guns to generate any heat. Alright, you are the only one on the team who can really aim. Sorry, I know Steam Fitter's here, but come on. Come on, we've all seen him shoot. Alright, that looks like a kill.
Reporting. Enemy vehicle eliminated.
Let's do this.
This other mech, this other vehicle is in a pretty tough place for us to deal with, unfortunately. The good news is we have 7 evasion. Not likely to get a lot of damage through, even with all of the weaponry. And it has shown its thin back armor to us. Of course, that thing has an LRM launcher. We only took 1 missile.
I got something.
Okay, that's maybe quite enough now.
Let's go.
Yes, Commander.
Once again, we're not technically allowed to shoot at that guy. Alright, well, you just get to walk up behind him. Oh, if I take cover, I'm not actually behind him. Well, if we trust that we're actually going to get the kill here, which I do, I think it's not such a big deal. And Steamfitter can actually shoot a little bit. So how thin is the back armor? Ooh, not as much as I was hoping.
Yes, Commander.
That said, the weapon systems on this thing are actually fairly powerful when it has jumped.
One less vehicle. Commander.
I see no reason to do anything until after the vehicles go, right? I don't think they should be able to establish direct line of sight. We don't know if they have any sensor lock, though. Looks like maybe not. Alright, so we need somebody to get over there in that direction
Firing jump jet.
to potentially be able to provide us with the close-range spotting that we need for next turn.
Waiting for orders.
And none of these mechs are particularly, like... None of these mechs particularly need to be afraid of a vehicle, I don't think. We didn't bring anything super light.
For orders.
You are going to jump over the geothermal area.
Oh yeah, it's on.
Commander.
Alright. Alright, man, it's a little creepy. Let's reserve down. We can have you with your 760 armor. I think what we want to do is just melee this one. Right? This'll kill him. Is there any location where he can sustain? No. There's no location where he can sustain a 140 damage hit.
On the move.
And then I am absolutely, definitely within support weapon range of the other one, so we can shut him down real fast too.
Yes, Commander.
And we probably don't need to spend any resolve doing so.
Yes, I'm there. Confirmed.
Wow, really? That's kind of incredible, given how little structure vehicles have.
How might I help?
Oh, that's a narc striker. There's a narc beacon and, as such, narc ammo. So we might actually be able to get some value off of salvaging him.
Be there.
Unfortunately, there is no way to kill a vehicle that increases your likelihood of being able to salvage its parts or anything. You know what? I'm going to just go ahead and reset my heat entirely.
Confirmed.
Hopefully that beacon launcher will still be functional, because that would be a thing worth having. And it's just like, go to the factory, huh?
On my way. Moving out.
We might want to take it easy on the Phoenix Hawk, maybe just like have it not sprint so far ahead of everybody this time.
On the move.
You're just gonna stand still for a turn.
Standing by.
So who do we want? I guess the mech that has 920 armor is probably the one that actually gets in the target zone and does the looting. Alright, we've taken possession of the stapler factory. Keep our scavenger friends occupied and away from the facility while our people crack the vault. Has a big old vault in it, huh? Definitely just a stapler factory. I mean, I know we never literally...
The asset is in hand, Commander.
Is that... Wait, really? Commander, I've been studying the symbols on the crates that our Lance pulled from the facility. Against all odds, it looks like Mr. Corbu was telling us the truth. We've just stolen several tons of commercial-grade Lost Tech desk accessories. Well, that's one for the record books. We just pulled the biggest stapler heist in human history. And to think, Binton and Maj have been at each other's throats over this vault for months. People have died for this. Yeah, a bunch of them. I just killed a bunch of people. How do we break it to them that they were fighting over garbage? It isn't our job to break anything to them. All we need to do is get this crap to Luth Abbey and get paid. Speaking of which, I'm setting a course, Commander. We'll get Corbu on the horn as soon as we reach cruising altitude. That was the whole mission? That wasn't a two-skull mission. What is going on down here? This whole thing just seems very strange, and it's not getting any less strange. We're about to have a phone call that I bet is going to make it even less strange. Is that... I said that right. Yeah, I said that right. So we took 3 points of priority salvage on that. I'm not sure that there's going to be anything we want. Well, we may as well take the narc ammo, because it's hard to find. And then... yeah, it, extremely doesn't matter what we take beyond that. Take a couple of LRM-10s? Does this... okay, this does have a valuation on the tooltips. The LRM-10s are worth slightly more than the large laser. PPC is actually the highest value loot. Yep, okay. We got the large laser. Yeah, we got stuff. We got some garbage. I'm sad the narc beacon was not there. I'm happy that we got some narc ammo at least. So we kind of lost 140 C-bills for nothing. But I think the decision we made at the time that we made it was still correct. You know, with the information we had then. Who could have guessed that by 2 skull they actually meant 3 vehicles? I guess it was 4 vehicles. The 2 of them were 35 tons. Those don't even add up to 1 vehicle, really. Hey, there you are! Just the mercs I was hoping to see. Well, we've got your staplers, Ed. Hope you've got a lot of empty space in that timeshare, because you're gonna need it. Hey, that sounds great. Really, it does. But, in the meantime, I've got a little problem on my hands. You know the guys who were fighting you over the vault? Binton and Maj? Well, they sent some goons to my place in Luth Abbey, and, long story short, they've trapped you in your condo, haven't they? Yeah, they've sort of joined forces and they're threatening to kill me if you don't give them the fabulous treasure that you pulled out of the vault. But there was no treasure. We got a ship's hold full of commercial-grade office crap. Yeah, I know, but they don't know that. See, they might have been led to believe that some incredible treasure was inside the vault. By a former client. Okay, I need you to be straight with me, Ed. Were you that client? In a manner of speaking. By which I mean yes. It was me. Why would you have told them that? Well, because every time I tried telling people what I was really after, they bailed on me. Up until I met you, I mean. You were different. But every mech I talked to before you took the job, laughed me off and called me a chump. So I whipped up a story about the vault being full of treasure, and all of a sudden I started getting bites. And then what? Well, first I hired Maj, seemed like a solid merc, but when he got to the site, he went rogue. I guess he wanted to take the treasure for himself. So then I called in Binton, who agreed to neutralize Maj for a share of the treasure, but he also went rogue. So then, you already know what happened next. So what you're saying is that you hired us to rob a vault from under your own contractor, whom you hired to take down your other contractor, both of whom are holding you ransom for a treasure that doesn't exist. Well, it sounds so bad when you put it that way. Look, I'm the victim here. And now, the way I see it, there are a couple ways out of this. Call them Option A and Option B. Option A is the direct approach. You come in, guns blazing, protect my timeshare, and mow down the bad guys. It's a simple plan, but it's got a few downsides. The streets of Luth Abbey won't support much more than 30 or 40 tons. You try landing anything heavier, and it'll sink right through. And my timeshare, while lovely, wasn't built to withstand a missile attack, so I guess that could be a problem too. Option B is going the tricky route. I tell Binton and Maj that we surrender, and that you'll drop the treasure in a field somewhere. When they show up in their big-ass assault mechs to fight over it, you swoop up and kick their teeth in. I thought you said they didn't have any mechs. Well, at Menlojoen, and they didn't. Probably because they didn't want to risk blowing up the treasure. So now, what's it going to be? Option A or Option B? Well, that's interesting. Option C is not a real option because I do not want to have a box full of staplers. I mean, it's probably like multiple crates full of we don't have anything to do with this stuff. So we could come in light to Luth Abbey, or we could go big. I mean, why not just go to Luth Abbey? Here's the thing I'm thinking. If we go with the other option, they have assault mechs. You know, we do still need, speaking of the mech stuff that we're missing for our class completion, we still need a lot of assault mechs. We have everything except the crab ready. So we could go for a big fight. Yeah, I'm actually really not sure what I want to do. So he said 35 to 40 tons. I guess we actually only have, like, if I'm remembering correctly, we might only have 3 mechs available at that tonnage. You know what, let's do the lure thing. I like the sound of option B. Let's go with that. You are an absolute lifesaver, Commander. I'll tell the bad guys where to meet you. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got to go. This condo's got a sweet little panic room, and it's got my name written all over it. Well, the crisis sounds like it's over, but yeah, okay, you go have fun. Hiding is good. Try to keep yourself alive until the smoke clears. Roger that, Space Doc. You won't hear a peep out of me until the shooting stops. And by that time, with a little luck, Majin Binton will be out of my life forever. Better get to it, Commander. I'll be waiting for you. He is not correct. We do not, in fact, desperately need repairs. In fact, I believe we only have 1 mech damaged, right? Okay, interestingly, this is a 2-skull. I've told Binton and Mods that you're going to drop their treasure in a field about 100 clicks southeast of Luth Abbey. That should put you far enough away to avoid collateral damage, so feel free to go after them with whatever battle mechs you like. Just be aware that there's nothing stopping them from doing the same to you. So we suspect they might have assault mechs. Boy, it's really difficult to know what to do here. It's just so... There are so many unknowns, and we don't even know what all of our unknowns are. Also, there's a lot of money on the line here, and I'd love to take some of this money. So we're talking about 300,000 C-bills almost. Each pip of priority salvage we give up. I'm going to take this as pretty heavily cash. We'll take 1 point of priority salvage. And it's still a 2-skull mission. Boy, if there are actually assault mechs here, and we blood wheel ourselves into having to do this at 2 skulls, it could be really ugly. Well, I mean, listen, it's not my business to say whether or not we blood wheel. It's the blood wheel's business, and it didn't tell me otherwise, so I guess we're spinning that wheel. Please be something easy. Spread the love. Okay, spread the love can sometimes be a problem. Spread the love allows us to take a +1, so we're looking at 3 skulls. This, in case you don't remember, is we have to bring as many multi-target pilots as possible, and we have to shoot the maximum number of targets with each of our attacks. We can go up to a 3-skull lance here. So who are my multi-target pilots? Do we have exactly 4? No, it looks like we have 5 now. Well, Chicken Hound, you're getting some more XP. Welcome to the team. And then, who could use the skill points most among the others? The others are all pretty trained up. I guess it's Trampoline and... It's all 3 of these ones, right? Because Cruz is, like, extremely developed. Cruz is ridiculously developed. Okay. What are the mechs that we are bringing? In case there's a real fight here, what would we want to bring? We're going to have a hard time dealing with an assault mech with this crew. Alright, it's probably the Hatchet Man gets changed, right? We are going to want to bring something that's a little bigger and a little meaner. It's a tundra biome, which is different from polar. You get those geothermals and stuff. I mean, we could bring the Cataphract and some light mechs. Like, the mobility of the Phoenix Hawk might still be really valuable. What else could we bring at a little bit lighter? A pair of SRM 6++ launchers. Are these both plus damage? Yeah, so those do 72 each. Plus 100 damage worth of medium lasers. That's fine. It's not actually that much better than the Phoenix Hawk, and also it doesn't have that much more armor. Or actually, it has the same amount of armor. It's a very small... It has a little bit more structure. Well, I think we're going to try it like this, then. Yeah. Okay. We are at 3 skulls. The Cataphract is going to be our big mech killer if it turns out that there are, in fact, big mechs, which means that Uncrackable needs to be driving it. So let's swap these two over. Chicken Hound ends up driving the Wolverine because the Wolverine's the least useful of these mechs. And then we'll, like, swap these two just because I'm thinking, like, in terms of breaching shot. We don't want Uncrackable, or sorry, we don't want the Cataphract pilot to be one of the people who's doing the sensor locking. We want him to be able to benefit from the sensor locking. So I think this is all right. Yeah. Yeah, I think we're... Comfortable is a strong word. I was about to say we're comfortable here. We are gonna give this a try, like this. And listen, if we end up having to bail on this mission because it actually is like a bunch of assault mechs or something, we can do that. We have that option, and we can just like wait a day until the flashpoint repops and try it again. Darius's text suggested that this will be one of those missions where we can get multiple enemy lances to fight each other. So that might be, if there are big mechs, that might be how we deal with it. It's hard to know exactly what we're getting into here because we know the only thing we really know about our client is that he's a liar, and also maybe a large bird. God, I hope he's a large bird. It's the only thing that could possibly salvage this day. I have to say, I appreciate that this Flashpoint has had a tone that's quite different from the rest of the missions. I like a little bit of tonal variance in an experience that is as many hours long as this one is. Eyes up, Maj. Corbu's pet mercenaries are here. It took them long enough, but now they're going to give us what's ours, aren't they? Their buddy Ed already told us as much, so they'll relinquish our treasure nice and easy and then fly off into the sunset together. Well, it's already done, Maj. If you run a sensor sweep, you'll find a handful of very large crates about 300 meters from where you're standing. Huh, what do you know? There they are. And I'll be taking them. I advise you all to stand down, but I know that you won't listen, so I think I'll just shoot you instead. These really are unsavory characters. Not if I beat you to it, you insufferable prick. I've been waiting for an opportunity to put you down.
After this mission, let's make snowmen.
Alright, man, maybe. You know what? If we survive this, that can be your reward. So are they gonna go for the crate, or are they just... I'm wondering if maybe it's a good idea for us to just chill for a turn or two.
Roger.
I don't really want to start things, you know? I want to be around when things get started, but I don't want to be the one who does the starting.
Good to go.
Okay, my guess is that they are doing literally nothing, based on the amount of time that it took there between the end of our turn and the start of our next turn. I think we're going to have to commit a little bit here to get the event running, and then maybe we back up.
Coordinates received.
Have you run this
Copy that,
way?
Commander.
Oh, Maj's dropship is on its way, marking the projected LZ, so we are in the wrong place here. So these guys are going to come directly toward me. We're probably going to want to try to fall back this way, so that we draw them in like this, and then Maj's dudes come up behind them.
I hear ya.
Let's see, I could jump pretty far up. Okay, let's do it like this. I do have to shoot at the largest number of targets possible, you know? They totally have a Banshee 3E. It's in pretty bad repair, and a Banshee's not a terrifying assault mech. But yeah, that's a thing to be a little concerned about. The good news is we actually have really good hit chances on it, so I think what we're going to do here is actually just hammer it. I'm going to give it everything except the SRM-4. No, except one of the lasers.
Line them up and I'll shoot them down, Commander.
I know it's guarded and it has damage reduction and everything, but it actually has very thin armor. If we can open up the ammo bay for that autocannon,
Standing by.
and just get one good shot in there, it could be a big deal for us. This could be a big gain.
On it.
All right, here I believe we're only going to be able to. Yeah, this is how we're going to have to do this.
Splitting targets.
Now with the other mechs, we have some more interesting decisions here. I'm going to jump, obviously. We got to jump. Yeah, I think we want to give him the AC-2 by itself, just because, you know, we can breaching shot. If I jumped in closer... Because, like, we're going to get a 40% damage reduction. Yeah, this is the most efficient overall damage. Let's do this. Let's jump in. Let's give him the multi-target. So we do actually have to kill this javelin, right? I'm gonna be honest with you. I was kind of hoping that was going to go someplace that mattered a little bit more than the arm.
Another hit like that and you're toast.
Also, if we kill the javelin, that means we can start aiming a little bit more in the way that we would like to. We also have breaching shot here, so obviously we're going to give the big mech the Gauss rifle.
Here we go.
Alright, come on. Show me something good. I mean, I'd take a lucky headshot. That would be pretty cool. Oof. Okay, he only fired the one weapon, though. Those are big guns relative to the mechs we're running here. I've got bad news for the lot of you. You're standing between me and my treasure, and that's a bad place for you to be. Now, smashing your mechs won't be quite as satisfying as dunking your heads in a bucket of blood limpets, but given the circumstances, I'm willing to settle. Remind me to smack med for a spec... I'm not reading that line. I screwed it up too many times already. We just have to move on.
Waiting on you, Commander.
Okay, you... probably want to keep moving. I guess I want to maybe take it easy on the jumping, though.
On my way.
So, what do we actually want to give to the javelin? How much do I have to put through to kill him? From this side, it's actually... even though a lot of this is going to go center, it's still kind of a lot of damage. Let's see. I mean, I just want to give you everything I can. It was 108 total, right? Yeah, 108 total to get through the center torso if everything hits the center torso. And his leg has 90, or 100, sorry. So if we're thinking we want to take the javelin down, we actually want to hit him with everything, like almost everything. I think I'm just gonna go hard on the Banshee here. We're gonna give one weapon to the javelin.
You get a headshot, and you get a headshot.
Okay, there we go. We're starting to pierce. Now, the Banshee has considerable structure. The fact that the armor is really thin doesn't mean we're going to be able to just kill this thing in like one hit, but
Ready for
we're
orders.
definitely at least able to try to hit the ammo bin and stuff. It'll be easier once we're only fighting one enemy, and we can actually use our aim shots.
Got it.
Now, in this case, I think I'm going to kind of do the opposite. Oh, also, the weapons just kind of work out that way.
Confirmed. Firing.
Okay, we're getting something done. I just really like to kill the javelin at this point.
What can I do for you?
With everybody else and their slightly different packs of weapons. I'd love to get a flank off if I could. Yeah, alright, we'll do this the way we can. And it seems like I'm vacillating. I'm going back and forth on strategies pretty rapidly here. Okay, took off his left arm. There's nothing in the left arm. But it does mean shots from his left side are a little bit stronger now, which is good, because I think we're about to get one. And in this case, I think we're going to give the Gauss rifle to the little guy. Because now we're looking at breaching shot again and stuff. And I would sure like it if he went down.
Engage multiple targets.
Oh, wow. I just accidentally stripped his head. Okay, uncrackable. What a performance. That was wild, actually. Just accidentally. It's like when the enemy armor is all low like that, you can sometimes get very lucky. So there's a 25-ton mech and a 30-ton vehicle coming in. Guess let's just like run real fast here for a second.
To the middle.
Boy, that thing's probably got about 6 evasion pips. Alright, well, no matter what I do, I can only hit one target. So this here is an opportunity to actually use some aimed shots. A Commando 1B. That is actually the small mech that we are missing. That said, we can only take one piece of salvage home, so we know it doesn't really matter how we do this. But I don't know how much of it we need. Who knows? Maybe we're already at 4 portions, and this is going to finish it for us. That would be cool. Okay, they got something else coming in, and sadly, that vehicle is now close enough that we can.
Waiting for orders.
We will have to fire at both enemies, unless. Oh no, I can absolutely see both of them. Oh, interesting. Yeah, we're only going to get to fire one weapon no matter how we do this. I mean, I don't have to fire. It's just if I fire, I have to fire as much as I can. I think I'm just going to spend a turn sprinting into cover here.
Moving fast.
We need the coolant. Or we need the cooling, rather. Okay, so the opening is on this side. Do something like this. We give him all the lasers, and the Galleon gets the Gauss rifle. Is there a chance this Gauss rifle hit's going to kill? Yeah, in fact, if the Gauss rifle hits, it definitely kills. Seems pretty good.
I'm on him.
It turns out Uncrackable in the Cataphract is a powerful combination. And they do have something moving on one. And it's not that other mech that we can see, right? It's a 4th mech. Yeah. So these guys are a 4 and a 3. Well, that's a little not great for us. Okay. The Commando is definitely dead here.
Take this.
So now we just have whatever very fast mech this is, and then also his assault mech, which we have to assume will have the same armor issues that the last one had.
Position confirmed.
Yep, unknown. So Javelin 10A. What is your deal? You have an LRM-15 and that's it. And also basically no armor. I can't fire this? With this amount of armor, I'm wondering if it's better to just fire both the large lasers for the tight clustering of the damage. Nah, we can't rely on Chicken Hound's aim at all. Okay, he hit the center torso a little bit. I think one of those missiles went in.
Waiting on you, Commander.
You actually might still need to rest?
Coordinates received.
Well, I mean, I guess we may as well take the shot here, since we have it. Where is your LRM? It's in the right torso, and it would take 40 damage to pierce. Yeah, okay, just go center.
Want some more, huh?
Ready to rock.
I feel fairly confident we are about to get a kill here.
Here we go.
Aw, I guess I overestimated Uncrackable very slightly. Okay, Wolverine's plenty tough.
Let's hit him hard. What can I do for you?
Oh, I do have a jump. Oh no, and it's not in cover. I do have spots where I can see both the enemies. Although, I'm not going to be able to shoot him, probably, right? Yeah, he's outside weapon range. So, okay. So I don't have to go in that far, then. Which is good for us.
Moving to position.
It's a good thing this mech doesn't have any weapons that have actual range. Probably overdoing it a little bit. I can probably scale back on the heat.
Special delivery. And stay down.
Alright, just my 4 mechs against his 1 big, huge, terrifying mech.
Engaging jump jet.
It is a Stalker. Stalker 3F, okay. Well, the good news is that that is a mech that has a lot of its armor missing. The bad news is it still has 135 center torso structure, and actually, it's not built in such a way that it's easy to strip all of its weapon systems. Like, this is a legitimately scary foe.
Engaging with target.
That said, we have a massive numbers advantage. We're just going to have to figure out how to apply that. Hold on. Let's let Uncrackable go next. I want the information we get from this attack. So obviously he's the one using the remaining resolve. The head only has 38 health. And right now he's got 20% damage resistance. So the large lasers are lethal. I think I'm going to try to go to his head with all 3 weapons, because any one of them hitting kills him. Okay. Uncrackable gets it done is the talk.
Target down.
That's done it, Commander! By all the gods, you have done it! Benton and Maj are dead, we've still got our staplers, and we're all gonna walk away from this with a nice fat paycheck in our pockets. Yeah, I'll believe that when I see it. Well, you won't have to wait long. If you'd be so kind as to scoop up the treasure, I'll fence it to my associates, and then we can all fly off into the sunset. Our job here is done. Our, he says. That was a weird flashpoint. I'm curious what the actual loot is going to be. So we made a decent amount of money. We also ended up actually having a reasonable amount of good loot available here. So hold on, let me pull up the list. The Commando 1B is meaningful, and then that Stalker we don't need. Okay. We're only 3 of 5 on the Commando. That's a little bit of a bummer. So we don't need the Stalker parts. We finished our Stalker. We do need Banshee 3E parts. We do need the Commando parts. I'm going to be stuck doing a lot of light missions for people as we try to salvage our reputation. So I think we probably want to just take the Banshee part now. We will get that Commando finished. Okay, they gave us a second one. That's awesome. That's very, very lucky. I don't think we would actually run a Banshee 3E if we completed it, but we should definitely complete it. There's a lot of points on the line if we can finish off all these weight classes. I know that I'm really harping on making sure we get these. It's a tremendous amount of score. Well, tremendous. It's a significant amount of score. All right, let's see if there's a twist here. Who's true to his word? Ed Corbu, that's who. I've gotten in touch with my associates and arranged the sale of our antique office supplies. I think you'll be very happy with your cut of the profits. Well, I'm thrilled that we're getting paid at all. To be perfectly frank, it didn't seem terribly likely that this was going to work out in our favor. And yet, here you stand, a nice fat stack of C-bills in hand. Like I said, my associates had you covered. Yo, who are these associates of yours, Ed? The sale's already gone through, so telling us couldn't hurt anything. Well, they're just these people. You know, high-status types. I think they work in communications. As to why they want all this old junk, who knows? I think it's symbolic, like having a fancy business card or getting a sweet paint job on your mech. Can't think of any other reason why anyone would care about a crate full of staplers. Well, good on you, Ed. You set your sights on this goal and made it happen, despite the fact that you had no idea what you were doing at any point in the process. That's pretty impressive, if you ask me. So, how are you going to spend your share of the profits? Oh, quality of life upgrades. I'm taking my share and moving to New Avalon. I've spent enough time out in the boonies. I want some of that Capital World lifestyle. And with Maj and Binton out of the picture, you're in a fine position to enjoy it. Damn right. You did me a big favor by taking them out of the game. And I hope you don't take this the wrong way, Commander, but I have no desire to spend any more time hanging with mech jockeys. From this point on, it's all peace and love for Ed Corbu. Giant robots need not apply. I have never heard a crazier sentence in my life. I think that's for the best, Mr. Corbu. Most people aren't cut out for the sort of life we lead, and if I'm being honest, that probably isn't a bad thing. No, ma'am, it most definitely is not. On that note, it's probably time for us to say goodbye. Thanks again, Commander. You really saved my bacon back there. Well, as a rule, I don't let my clients get killed. It's bad for business. But you're welcome all the same. Cheers, pal. And if you're ever on New Avalon, well, you probably shouldn't look me up, but raise a toast for your old pal Ed Corbu. I got there eventually. And know that he's off living his best life, probably in another beautiful condominium, because he has standards that need to be met. We'd expect nothing less. Goodbye, Mr. Corbu. Maybe we'll catch you sometime later on down the line. Who knows? Maybe you will. Until then, take care of yourselves. Okay. Darius, stop bothering me. That was only 500,000 C-bills. And also, a really terrible arm mod, and a crappy comm system, and... okay, AC-10 Plus is a good weapon. And that's it. That's it. This whole thing was 500,000 C-bills and an AC-10 Plus. Well, I guess we got reasonable salvage. That was not a very good Flashpoint, in terms of payout. It was definitely weird. You know, I like to have a weird experience. Okay, well, I think this is probably where we want to call it for today. Obviously, we'll be starting up with data piracy in tomorrow's episode, and then heading for Victoria. Thank you all so much for watching, and come back next time tomorrow when we do the thing. I just said it. I already said it outside the outro. You don't need to hear it again, but it's going to be that thing, and we'll see you then.